I'd like to welcome you to my channel. I'm Larry Olsen, and there's two things we're going to talk about that I think you'll find to be very beneficial when you avoid doing it to your brain. And I also want to encourage you to stay through the whole video because I have a phenomenal offer waiting for you at the end of this video. And I know that you'll be grateful that you did wait. Now that's for me to prove now, isn't it? Okay, take me on. Anyway, there's two things I would avoid ever saying to myself because of what it does to my brain. And the first thing, and it's happened to all of us, is that we say, I think I'm losing my memory. Now imagine what takes place when you say that. You and I, we have over 70,000 thoughts going through our mind in a 24-hour period of time. That's quite a conversation, isn't it? It's actually 1.6. It's actually one thought every 1.6 seconds. Those thoughts accumulate to build what are called beliefs. Beliefs drive behavior. Behavior creates the performance, how we're doing in this thing called life. And when we say I'm losing my memory, well, guess what happens? With the 100 billions of neurons, over 100 billion neurons that we have, and each neuron creates connections of over 1 trillion, okay? Which means we have an unlimited storage capacity. Now, what does that mean? It means that not only can we store everything that's happened since we popped out of the womb, but we also have the opportunity to store things infinitum. In other words, there's no limit on it. Now, since our brain is processing, and this is totally amazing, over what? Actually 30-some trillion bits of information a second. If we paid attention to it all, it'd be white noise. So we've got this marvelous attachment that connects our spinal cord to the brain, and it's called the reticular activating system. And I've talked about it in some of my other videos. But here's what happens when you say I'm losing my memory. You just alerted and put it into your nav system that that's your destination. Yes, whatever we think about, we manifest. And what that means is it's all we see. If I say look for the color red, you weren't looking for green. Why? Because you said red, Larry. Okay, well I said I'm losing my memory, so guess what happens to my brain? It starts to see all the indications that I'm losing my memory. It even reminds me of, you remember you couldn't remember that person's name the other day? Do you remember? And unfortunately, we stay on that. We start to loop it, and pretty soon we think we're losing our mind. Now, hopefully it never gets that bad. But what do? You realize that when things are important to you, you will remember them. And to assure it, if I want to remember someone's name, I just don't keep my fingers crossed. I write it down. I repeat it when I'm talking to them. Hey, John, well, what'd you think about? I don't go, oh, God, I hope I remember John's name. Because if I believe that I'm not good at remembering names, just like if I'm losing my memory, when I hear a name, guess what I need to do? I need to forget it automatically. That's what's so cool about our brain. It'll do anything we ask of it. It'll do anything we ask of it. So don't ask it to lose your memory. So just recognize when you want to remember something, you'll do it on purpose. And that, my friends, will absolutely give you the opportunity to recognize that it's easy for you to accumulate new information. It's easy for you to remember people's names. You've got the storage capacity to remember every name that's ever been created in the history of man. You could remember all the names of everyone on this planet until you go, well, I don't know if I go that far. That's all you have to say. And that will begin to limit you. Isn't that amazing? Now, you know the other thing that I'll avoid at all cost, and not only am I losing my memory, I will avoid having my brain feel that I have to be liked by others. Now, I'm not saying I don't want to be liked by others, but when I have to be liked by others, who gives me permission in my life to know how I'm doing? Others. Who lets me know whether I'm worthy or not? Others. Yeah, we don't want to live in a vacuum. We're very social creatures. We can't propagate the species and continue to exist as a civilization without being in groups, without getting along, without joining one another. But try to lose sense of self. And if you're attempting to do that, all you need to do is, well, how am I doing? Does they like, you're asking people before you leave, how do I look? You're getting into situations where you are second guessing the most incredible thing that's ever dropped into this thing called life. And that's you. You are unique. You are amazing. There isn't anyone else like you. Nobody even has your fingerprint or genetic blueprint. But because of that, guess what happens? We don't know that. Most people don't remember that. Now, is that because they feel like they're not good at remembering? No, what it means is that because of what has happened to us in our life, we start to allow that to determine who we are. And most people don't know who they are, but they sure know what they've become. And that's why I would avoid at all cost having to be liked by others. I'd much rather be respected by others. And the only way that's going to happen is when I respect myself. Because that is what becomes attractive. That is what attracts, is that people trust us, people enjoy us. Why? Because we have an opinion, we have a frame of reference, we have a mind, and we're able to use it. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're going through this thing called life. When you ask yourself how you're doing, answer it. And remember, it's a choice on how you answer it. And you know what I choose to do? I choose to recognize that I am privileged at this moment in time to be looking not into the camera lens, but into your eyes, and having the opportunity to participate in what's going on in your mind. I mean, my golly gee whizzers, how cool is that? But you remember, there was a time when I was uncomfortable speaking in front of groups. There was a time when I couldn't even remember my name looking into a camera. There was a time, but those times are what we learn from, and those times only last a little while. What lasts a lifetime is the fact that we went through those times, and it gave us courage and strength to be even more powerful the next time. So if those of you found value in this, please subscribe, tell a friend, because of you, I'm able to do this. I'm able to share what's taken over 40 some years to be able to learn and accumulate. And it's a fascinating and wonderful experience to be able to have you giving feedback as to what you thought about this. So your comments are definitely of value to me. And what is even more important is I've got an offering for you that I think you'll find tremendous value. And all you need to remember is, we can get the greatest offering, we can be told that we'll be able to change this and we'll be able to accomplish that. And any of you that have any challenges in your life and you want to figure out how to overcome them, it only requires one step. And for most people, it's most difficult. And guess what that is? You need to do something about it. You need to actually take me up on my offer, which you'll see in the link below. And I'm even offering it half at what it's worth. It's even worth, tremendous amounts of money. All I gotta do is ask yourself, what is it I have to give up in order to get this? And I'll tell you, the only thing you have to give up is that which is currently holding you back. And then in a month, in an hour, however long it takes, you'll look back and you'll go, you know what? I'm still where I was when I watched that before. And all you gotta do is, for in a moment or in a month, and look back and say, you know what? I accomplished what I set out to accomplish. I'm not concerned about that any longer. Why? Because you and I did what the only thing we need to do to make anything happen, and that is to take action. And when? Now. So I challenge you, if you want to live and show up with a more empowered presence and truly redefine the art of living, then let's do that together. Give me the opportunity to become a part of that change with you so that I can get the reward of having you say, Larry, thank you. Because there's nothing that feels better than we've been able to help another human being. And I'm telling you, when you give me those comments, that helps me tremendously. Otherwise, I'm just looking into a camera. You know what? That camera has no emotion. That camera doesn't tell me how I'm doing. So thank you again for watching this. And I'm looking forward to the journey ahead, because trust me, when you open up this moment and you look forward to it, we're back to what we started at. And that was a curious little kid. Just couldn't wait for the next moment. So thank you, and I look forward to our next moment together. Take care.